Hello and welcome. This is part 2 of me reading the first chapter of my novel. Last time we left off kind of at a strange spot because my SD card ran out of room. So I'm going to continue where I left off last time. The two boys sitting on the other side of the fire were very quiet, but pleasant. The elder, who had full, brown, curly hair and dark eyes, wore a knitted burgundy vest, with a cable streaming down the middle. He held hot cider in his hands and sipped it slowly. The younger had pink, rosy cheeks and blonde, curly, fluffy hair. He watched people dancing in the distance and clutched papers to his chest. He had a slight smile, and his eyes seemed to be in another world, dreaming. Minty's own eyes felt very tired, and she began to stare into space. Oh, what was I thinking, she thought. I can't seem to stay awake. The older boy happened to notice her tired and cold face, which concerned him suddenly. Whenever Minty was tired, she looked almost angry, even though she wasn't. He felt rather confused, wondering if she was looking at him for a serious reason. She wasn't intentionally looking at him, but her eyes had gone into some sort of trance. "Are you all right?" he asked. "I'm sorry, you just seem to be staring over here, as if something was troubling you. Is there?" Minty jerked out of her daydream at once, feeling rather embarrassed. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she said. "I'm just a little tired, that's all. I'm sorry, sir." "That's all right," he smiled. "There's no need to apologize, I understand." All of a sudden, the sound of loud music rang out behind them as people began to dance. "Oh my gosh!" She jerked from the sudden noise and then relieved. "Oh, they're just dancing. Phew." Mr. Murgrove happened to be walking by when she had been startled, and then he started to laugh. "Oh, Miss Stardom," he chuckled. "Why don't you join them? It'll be fun." "What?" Minty gasped. "Are you serious?" "Yes, of course I am. Let me take you over there. You'll have fun." Mr. Murgrove dragged Minty over to the crowd of dancers. I don't know if you can see the picture. It's not the best way to see it because, yeah, it's okay. "Mr. Murgrove, I know you want to be nice, but," Minty began, but before she could finish, he left her in the center of the dancing crowd. "Dance!" Mr. Murgrove shouted amongst the musical sounds. "Indeed you must know how, right?" And then, not really thinking, she twirled and tapped her feet in the sunset as the people surrounded her. They were all but silhouettes in the orange-lit scene among the soft grass beneath their feet. Minty soon found it hard to dance in her wooden shoes, so she took them off and set them aside, and danced barefooted among them. The boys by the fire watched her, mostly the older, as she was flying about, her hair recklessly, covering her face. And then the dance ended. "Oh, my word," Minty breathed hard. "I'm so tired." She picked up her wooden shoes and went back to sit down, coming across Mr. Murgrove on the way back. "Now aren't you glad I brought you over there?" he asked her cheerfully. "You looked like you had so much fun." "Oh yes," Minty said, quite tiredly. "I think I need to sit down now." "Oh, of course, dear. Go on and relax. I'll be of service to you whenever you need it. Don't hesitate to let me know of anything you need." "Thank you very much, Mr. Murgrove." Minty walked back to her stump and plopped down by the crackling fire. Suddenly, Mr. Murgrove seemed to pop out of nowhere right next to Minty again. "Eek!" squealed a startled Minty. "Oh, it's you, Mr. Murgrove. I didn't see you there, sir." "I'm dreadfully sorry for frightening you," he said, "but I just wanted to make sure you still had some cider, dearest." "Oh, yes, thank you. It's quite delicious, too." "Excellent," Mr. Murgrove smiled with delight. "Oh, I am so happy. You have such a way with words, too, you know, Minty dear. Yes, you do. I'm so pleased as punch that you like my dear friend's cider. She makes it, you know. What an amazing cook she is." "Oh, yes, I agree." Minty turned her head away and took another sip, looking quite worn out. She wasn't angry, but of course she had the look upon her face of one who may be so, and Mr. Murgrove nervously felt as though she must be disgusted with his manners. "Oh, Miss Stardong," he cried. "Please forgive me. I'm so desperately sorry if I made you upset or uncomfortable." "Well, wait," she exclaimed. "It's okay. You don't have to apologize." "Oh, but I do." "I assure you you don't have to, but I do forgive you, if that is what you want me to say, Mr. Murgrove, sir." "Oh, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Miss Stardom. I'll leave you be now. Please keep enjoying yourself." He seemed a boisterous and high-spirited old man, and lit everything up when he spoke. With such animation he talked to the people in the crowds. Minty found herself lost in thought, wondering and watching him as he laughed with other people who joked with him. He seemed to cheer everyone else up when he was around, and his twinkly eyes and fluffy beard seemed to dance when he smiled. He wore a dark red coat with silver buttons that Minty had rarely seen, and they shone with brightness, reflecting the glow of the sun. Minty slowly turned her head around to the boys as they sat quietly, still. "He is certainly one to jump to conclusions sometimes," the older boy giggled, and then added, "Just to let you know, there's still more dances, and I know they'll be wonderful with the musicians that have come to play. I often like to sit back and listen rather than dance, but perhaps I will eventually." "How many more dances are there?" she asked. "Oh, at least 5 or 6, I believe, but it depends on how much the people want to dance. They might be begging for more late into the night. I thought you'd want to know in case you wanted to dance another one." "Oh my gosh, I don't think so. I've never danced like that before, and it was quite crazy too. Though, I do love it very much. I guess I'm just out of practice." The boy chuckled, not because of what she said, but because he was still thinking about Mr. Murgrove. "I'm sorry about Mr. Murgrove," he said, "but I can't help but laugh as well." "Oh dear, that's just fine," Minty assured him. "He seems so kind." "Have you ever been to one of these gatherings before, ma'am?" "No, I haven't. Do you live in this meadow, sir?" "I do, with my younger brother Shawley," he said. "My name is Donnie Merli." "My name is Minty. It's lovely to meet you both." They decided to go and get more cider to drink and chatted about the gathering. The sun was getting much lower in the sky, and soon it would be dark. The only lights in the meadow would be the lanterns amidst the people. Minty took a huge plate of food and dessert from the table, and the boys did too. Rarely had Minty ever seen or been able to taste so many delicacies in her life. Only on holidays and special feasts would a special pie even be made when she was growing up. Or occasionally Minty would bake a cake for herself, but it was a hard thing to make, so she enjoyed this feast tremendously. While they ate, they listened to beautiful music being played on the harp and oboe. Many of the people sang along with old folk songs and ballads. "Do you often come to these gatherings?" Minty asked the boys, then added, "This is the best pie I've ever eaten." "Oh yes, of course," replied Donnie. "We live here in the meadow and have been coming to these for years." Here's one more picture. You still can't see it very well because this is not the best image. Oh man, I'm running out of time. I don't think I can finish reading this. Ugh. Yeah. This is such a long chapter. What the heck?